I've been stuck at a 57 3-dart average for longer than I'd like to admit. Some days I'll throw a 62 and think, right, that's it. I've cracked it. Then the next day it's 51. Then 54. Then back to 57 again. Round and round. The normal advice is simple. Practice more. Throw more darts. Grind it out. But there's one problem. I don't actually know which part of my game is holding me back. Is it scoring? Is it doubles? Is it set-up shots? Is it pressure? Or is it just those random visits where everything suddenly falls apart for no obvious reason? So this is episode 1 of Chasing 60. I'm trying to get from a 57 average to 60 plus. Not 70, not world class, 3 points. That's it. But before I can fix anything, I need to know what is actually broken. Here's the trap. When you average 57, it's easy to think the answer is just heavier scoring. More treble 20s, more tons, more 140s. And maybe that is part of it. But average is not just scoring. It is scoring plus finishing. If I'm getting to 40 after 15 darts, then taking 9 darts to hit the double, scoring is not the main leak. The double is. But if my doubles are decent and it takes me too long to even reach a finish, then the leak is earlier in the leg. That is what I need to find out. No guessing, no pretending, no cherry-picking the good legs. Today is the baseline. 3 tests, 1 for scoring, 1 for doubles, 1 for pressure checkouts. And whatever the numbers say, that decides what I work on next. Test 1 is the 100 dart scoring audit. Very simple. I throw 100 darts at the 20 segment. Not just treble 20, the full 20 bed. Singles count. Trebles count. Double 20 counts. What I'm tracking is this. How many darts stay in the 20 segment? How many drift into the 1 or the 5? How many miss the column completely? And what pattern shows up across the full 100 darts? Because the score matters, but the pattern matters more. If most of my misses are going into 1 and 5, my line is breaking. If they are staying in the 20 but dropping low, my height is off. If the first dart is good but the visit still falls apart, then the problem might be rhythm, grouping, or how I react after the first dart lands. I might have a rough idea of where the leak is, but rough ideas are not enough. Sometimes it feels like the scoring is the problem. Sometimes it feels like the doubles are the problem. And sometimes it feels like one ugly visit in the middle of a leg ruins everything. That is why I need the numbers. What I think is happening and what is actually happening might be two different things. So now I'm going to test it properly. Right, that's the 100 darts done. If too many darts are leaving the 20 column, then my scoring floor is too low. And that matters, because getting from 57 to 60 is not about one extra 180. It is about fewer dead visits. A 26 hurts more than a 140 helps. That is the horrible little maths of darts. Test 2 is the 40 test. I set up 40 10 separate times. Each time I count how many darts it takes to finish. Then I add the total. This sounds basic, but basic is where the truth lives. 40 is one of the most common finishes in darts. You are going to see it constantly. And if you are supposed to finish from 40 but keep taking 4, 5 or 6 darts, the average gets murdered quietly. I'm tracking 3 things: total darts for 10 checkouts, how often I hit double 20 clean, and what happens when I miss. If I miss outside, I'm still on 40. If I miss inside, I'm moving down to double 10. That miss tells me something. Am I pulling it? Am I snatching? Am I throwing at the target properly? Or am I trying to guide it in? This is where a decent leg either gets finished or turns into a puddle. Right, the 40 test is done. These numbers matter because doubles decide whether the scoring counted. You can score well for 15 darts, but if you then waste 9 at double, the leg does not care how good the scoring looked. The average tells on you. Test 3 is the one I'm dreading, which probably means it is the one I need. This is a descending checkout drill. I start on 65, 3 darts in hand. If I check out, I move up 1 number. If I miss, I drop down 1 number. 10 minutes, no resets, no hiding. No, I'll just try that again because I should have hit it. The reason I like this test is because it adds pressure without needing an opponent. You can start well, then miss 2 in a row. Then suddenly a simple checkout feels heavier. That is match darts. Not exactly the same, but close enough to show what happens when things start going wrong. And that might be the difference between 57 and 60. 1 more checkout per match, 1 cleaner setup, 1 visit where you do not panic. That is where the 3 points might be hiding. That was horrible, which probably means it was useful. That gives me the pressure number, not the relaxed practice number. The you've just missed and now you need to go again number. That is much more useful. So now I've got 3 pieces of evidence: scoring pattern, double 40 performance, pressure checkout percentage. This is where the series actually starts, because the next episode depends on what these numbers say. If the 100 dart audit shows too many darts leaving the 20 column, then the priority is scoring consistency. Not more power, not more 180 chasing, just keeping bad visits from becoming disasters. If the 40 test is poor, then the priority is doubles, especially finishing the legs I've already earned. If the 40 test is decent, but the descending checkout drill falls apart, then the problem is probably pressure. That means the throw is there, but it is not holding up when the drill bites back. And that is a different fix. The important thing is this. Now I am not guessing. I've got numbers, ugly or not, They are useful. So that is the baseline. 3 tests done. Now I need to sit down, check the numbers properly, and work out where the biggest leak actually is. Because I don't want to build a routine based on what I think is wrong. I want to build it around what the numbers show. If it is scoring, next week is about reducing dead visits. If it is doubles, next week is about finishing legs properly. If it is set-up shots, next week is about leaving better finishes instead of cleaning up awkward messes. If it is pressure, next week is about making practice feel less comfortable. But I'll know once I've gone through the results properly. One problem at a time, not random practice. Not throwing for an hour and hoping something gets better. Diagnose, fix, test again. That is how I'm going to try and move from 57 to 60. 3 points. Sounds tiny, feels massive. I've been putting this off for a while. It is easy to throw practice legs, hit the odd good score, and convince yourself you are nearly there. It is harder to count every dart and look at what is actually happening. But you cannot fix what you refuse to face. So that is the baseline. My numbers will be in the description. If you are stuck around the same level, 50, 55, 57, 60, drop your average in the comments. But be honest, not your best leg, not your miracle night, your normal average. And tell me what you think your biggest leak is. Scoring? Doubles? Set-up shots? Or pressure? Because next week, the guessing stops. This is Chasing 60. Episode 1 is the baseline. Episode 2 is where the work starts.